Speaking about the Great Plains, buffaloes, bison, where they roam. Buffalo Tom, simple question. We like those. Does FSU have the resources to compete year in and year out at the national level again? Are we insane as a fan base expecting top 10 finishes and competing for championships? I like it, Corey. I like it. It's a question I think that comes on people's minds when somebody posted on the boards the other day, and I cannot confirm it. I hate to say it out loud when I cannot confirm something, but we're all just having fun on a podcast speculating that Chandler Morris, his NIL deal, the Virginia quarterback, was like $1.2 million. Carson Beck, we heard, $4 million to leave Georgia to go to Miami. Meanwhile, the number out there on Tommy is like $800,000. So there's a bit of, rallying circling the wagons. Florida State is doing the best on their sort of limited budget, but I don't know if I exactly buy that. So let's dive into it a little bit more and let's generate discussion. Corey, if you could give us some soundtrack.
And button. Boom, did it. You're welcome, Cummins. You're welcome. Keep those checks coming, baby.
Cummins Lifestyle, it's all one word. That's their Instagram page. They ask that you follow it, and we ask that you follow. They're awesome. They support the show. Super loyal, super easygoing. We love those folks. And we believe in their products, man. Cummins has got it going on. I don't know if people say that anymore, but I just did. The portable generators, the portable power stations. I think I might look into actually getting a home backup generator on the Atlantic offices. They got your boats covered, obviously. They've got your RV lifestyle. Our guy Keith keeps talking about every time I go to the tailgate. He's like, hey, man, come here. I want to show you something. I'm like, I know. You got to own a generator in your RV. And he just talks about how reliable it is, how quiet it is. Because, it's what you need. You need reliable power. You need quiet power. Cummins, the Onan line of products. That's top of the line, everybody. They've been doing it for over 100 years. Cummins Lifestyle, all one word. Give it a follow. They also want to give stuff away for free, which is incredible. The weekly winner goes into a monthly drawing for a gift bag, but every weekly winner goes into an end-of-year grand prize drawing for a portable generator or a portable power station. We have a September gift giveaway, Corey, so let's have the names on the screen. How many times do you want me to hit shuffle, friend?
3.
1, 2, 3. I did 4. Why do I keep doing that?
That's fine. Sorry, whoever it would have been third. That's on Aslan.
The winner is Mom's Sandwiches, everybody. Give it up. You had a really good question, too. It says something about it involved cheeks.
Okay, yeah.
After this last cheek clapping that we handed out or whatever. That was good. We like that. Anyways, let's get to the question from our guy, Buffalo Tom. Again, Corey, do you think Florida State has the resources to compete year in and year out at the national level, or are the fans insane for expecting a top 10 finish and competing for championships?
Yes, I do think they have the resources. Aslan, you've been on campus. That's a pretty sweet football facility they have. The renovations to the stadiums are very nice. They pay their head coach $10 million. They pay their coordinators a lot of money. They spend a ton of money on this football program, on this football staff, and on this roster. I dare say they spend more money than Indiana. So,
Arizona State?
Yeah, so Indiana is back in the conversation again. Yes, they can compete on the national stage. This is not a resource thing. It's one of the reasons I hated the way Jimbo left, because he made Florida State fans feel less than when he had I think it was the 6th highest paid coaching staff in the country at Florida State. And still, it wasn't enough. He wasn't getting enough. It was always complaints about what he didn't have, not realizing kind of what he did have, which is history, tradition, a great fan base, and a fertile recruiting ground. Florida State still has all that. They also went 13-0 2 years ago. They competed just fine 2 years ago. In 2022 and 2023, they're 23 especially. If it's a 12-team playoff, they're in it. They're also probably the 3 seed. By the way, just a little. But since there are only 4 teams, they were the 5 seed because things are stupid. 2022, they would have been close. Probably out, but they would have been close. Yes, they can compete. I dare say they didn't lose to Virginia because Virginia has more resources. They lost to Virginia because they turned the ball over. They have not been good in the conference the last 2 years because they have not had good players. But I think I do think they have good players this year. Last year they did not. That was misevaluation. That wasn't spending on the bottom of the barrel. I think Marvin Jones cost money. I think to keep Patrick Payton cost money. It was not money well spent. Spend your money better. But they and as you asked Norvell on Monday, Aslan, about the NIL landscape, he's right. Like, I do think it'll settle down, and everybody should be kind of on the level playing field. It's evaluation, man. It's going to come down to evaluation and development. You get the right people in here. Maybe they already are, but you get the right people in here. There's no reason. Florida State has a lot of things going for it. A lot of things. Yeah, go play at Illinois for $210,000 instead of at Florida State for $195 or whatever you think that disparity is. Good luck, man. Nobody in Champaign cares about football. Florida State has other things going for it. Plus, they do spend money. I don't want it to sound like they're not trying to spend money. I do not. Let me just say this. Who else in the ACC spends more money than Florida State? Who's got more resources than Florida State in this conference? And yet they're 1-9 in their last 10 games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think people look at the Miami game because of Beck's price tag. Number 8 on defense played pretty well. The safety transfer, Jacoby Thomas.
Oh, no. I do think Miami spends more money.
Clemson,
maybe, but that's a wrap. That's it. But those aren't the only teams you've lost to the last 2 years. So start beating the people that you make more money than, or you have more resources than, or by a convincing margin, and then let's worry about if you can compete with Georgia and Ohio State. But first things first, beat Pittsburgh. I promise you they don't have the resources you do. They're not spending $10 million a year on their head coach, and their starting quarterback isn't making hundreds of thousands. It ain't making $800,000. So beat this team, and then worry about the national level when you get to the national level. But they beat Alabama this year, man. So was that they had enough resources to do that? This is just a bad stretch. It's also such a stupid sport that we love that this is a legitimate question, right? Like, nobody asks if the Jags have they have the resources to compete with the Chiefs. They all get this. That's the NFL. But here you do have to pay for your roster, and the fans have to pay for their roster, and it's just dumb. But I understand the question. I understand the angst when it comes to that. Florida State spends a lot of money on football, a lot of money.
Yeah, it does sound like it was a kind of a clumsy question. I don't really know what I was hoping to get from Norvell, but I just feel like when you think about that spring window, again, he was a Tennessee safety, number 8 on their defense. Now he was at Miami, made several big plays. Like, you were in it with him. Keelan Marion, who had that end around for like 20-something yards in the second half. That's all he did, though, really. He's a guy that you were in on and lost out to. Tony Johnson, a receiver that didn't do anything, but I think he had maybe a big catch against Notre Dame, possibly a third down conversion. Like, he's a guy that you were in on and you lost to Miami. So I think there's a feeling, and then obviously the Carson Beck price tag. I think if you're a Florida State fan, you're looking at Miami and you're thinking, like, they are outspending us. What can we do? But they also, don't turn the ball over 3 times.
Right.
It has nothing to do with your payroll, man. I don't Tommy, if you would have given Tommy $1.6 million, I don't think he's going to be more careful with the football.
I also think with Miami, it's not the best example because I think their 3 best players, no offense, Carson, are their tackle, Reuben Bain, and Malachi Toney.
Yeah.
And none of those guys are portal guys.
Yeah.
You also have to recruit, man. You have to bring in guys and get them when they're high school recruits and not wait till their price tags go up in the portal. And that is one thing that they have not done well. This staff, Mike Norvell in particular, has not done well. But that doesn't mean it can't be done at Florida State. Florida State can spend with a lot of teams. And they're going to get more money from the ACC this year because they're going to get the highest ratings of any team in the conference. So that will help too. They will have more millions to spend. And you just got to spend. You've got to use your money better. You've got to spend it better. Also, Norvell, give $5 million a year to the NIL. Do what you got to do, buddy. Do what you got to do.
I mean, just a bit of a anecdotal example, but you retained Roydell Williams. You went after Gavin Sawchuk. Virginia went and got Jamari Taylor from North Carolina A&T.
Right. That's evaluation, right? That's not, they didn't outspend you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So Florida State does have and I get it. It's coming off the Miami game. That's a team that, I think to Mike's point that he kind of made, I think on Monday, was that there's a lot of that front loading stuff that kind of happened before the rev share thing went into gear. So I do think right now there is levels of disparity right now that I think will get leveled off starting next season. A lot of like Texas Tech. I don't know if Texas Tech's going to be able to do what they're doing right now. They saw that window to get all their contracts front loaded to get kids on campus this season to make a run. They're not going to be able to do that theoretically next time around. So maybe we won't see these huge discrepancies and disparities. But again, I don't think Virginia has a higher payroll than you, man. Their defensive line acquisition was from like UNLV. You went and got guys from Nebraska. That's
Tennessee.
And Tennessee.
Got a guy from Tennessee, yeah. Yep. Agreed,
Anyways,
Aslan.
Good question. Good stuff out of Corey, and even better stuff over at Cummins Lifestyle. Give it a follow. Check out all the awesome things you can do with your outdoor lifestyle, your recreational activities when you've got portable power. Portable power that's reliable and quiet, coming from a industry power leader for over 100 years. It's Cummins Lifestyle. Give it a follow on Instagram.